if you are part of one of my collectives, that in itself already means that you have the capacity to rise into your divine energy, to truly heal in this lifetime, because I am a reader that creates other healers. I'm a reader and a healer that helps people to really reach highest, most aligned timeline. I'm an alignment reader, right? So I am not for people who go for a tarot session once in a lifetime just to find out that their ex is gonna get it or that love is coming, and they will do absolutely nothing. Because on my sessions, just like in the collectives, this is what a true tarot reader should do. And I've done a video about this, like recently, you can watch that, comparing entertainment and tarot. True tarot reader is an awakened channel. We are the channels. This is just a tool. And our life's purpose, if tarot is your craft, is to help to guide others to reach their highest potential, to reach their highest, most aligned timeline. And we do that through guidance of our ancestors, through guidance of our spirit guides, through shadow work, through self-work. So a true tarot reader doesn't just tell you what's going to happen and how this person feels about you. We focus on you, your energy, your change, your path. This is true tarot. This is why it was created. Not to tell you what's going to happen, but to explain to you what could happen and what will happen if you choose to grow, if you choose to transform, if you choose to change yourself. And we will give you tips on how to do that, because again, we are the channel. So on a session, we channel messages from your guides, from the bigger decision and smaller life things and life changes, right? So if you are part of my collectives, and if that reading, watch the previous part, if it resonated, if this is actually your energy, it's your number one confirmation that you have it in you. So don't think that, oh, just because this person is not my true twin flame, so I'm not going to be able to become spiritual and change. It was just a karmic catalyst and I was Delulu. He was just a karmic catalyst, but a catalyst for change, catalyst to getting out of the Lulu mindset, catalyst to stopping running from one karmic connection to another, catalyst to finally choose you, to finally heal. It's just that you're going to do it from a different path. And I find that all feminines, right, who are in these connections where you think it's twin flame, but you realize that, you take a conscious choice to see that, to accept the truth. Okay, it's not my twin, it was my catalyst, but I still want to heal. And those feminines who embark on a journey of deep healing, of deep cleanse, to remove the karmic energy, to close all the contracts, to learn from these contracts, you're going to find yourself on a path of alignment. And what do I always say? On our highest, most aligned timeline, there is always a true soul connection to walk this path with us. It may take a while. Healing is a process, but there is always, if we choose ourselves, if we choose growth, if we choose alignment on our highest, most abundant timeline, there is always a soul connection, twin soul or higher soulmate. And with a higher soulmate, you can have equally fulfilling relationship, equally beautiful relationship. The only difference is that because twin flames are of same frequency and soulmates, higher soulmates, are a similar frequency. You both can achieve divine union and beautiful love, beautiful relationship. It's just that the path is a little bit different. And you don't necessarily are linked to that life of mission, right? Well, we all have a mission in our life, but I don't want to go into that because I promised you guys that I would do a lot of content about life's purpose and life mission in the month of October. So it's coming starting next week. But yeah. So just, know that you can still be her. You can still reach your greatness. And you are on a trajectory of forward movement because you have the Chariot. You have this in your energy, and that's on top of that Muse of Materials, which is King of Pentacles. You want to have it all. You want to have it all. Be the king of your castle. But now you're starting to realize that Delulu is not the way to go. You need more grounded plan. You need more... All right. You guys, if that resonated, let's do now what's coming in the month of October, because this is the whole purpose. So let's see what's coming. I want to start from emotions to prepare you. What's coming in the month of October for this collective? Okay. Space. Caution. Ghosts. All right. We're going to confirm in a moment, but we have space. This is your first card. So I feel like you will be maybe in this mindset of I want to take space for myself. I want to change the approach a little bit. I want to spend more time on my own for a certain realization. Not maybe just physically, right? But I feel like just I need space. You know, when people say that, it's exactly that. I need space to think, space to breathe. So, and I always say this to you guys, people who constantly do something, right? Constantly. And I hear this so often from people who are distorted. Whenever I say to them, I try to advise them, you need to slow down, because the reason we don't want to slow down is because that we don't want to face what's inside of us, the emotions, because they're painful and they're uncomfortable, right? So they would say to me, I slow down every now and then. I stay, home alone for a few hours. I take a bath. I read a book. I stay. No, truly taking time, needing space. It's not just taking few hours. And if you are someone that you're constantly going out and seeing friends and traveling, and it's like you're constantly trying to keep your mind occupied without spending literally the entire weekend locked in your house, just contemplating, meditating, right? And having regular moments of loneliness, is because you're running away. It comes with avoidance. Constantly looking for something, right? And also sometimes it may feel that you are home alone, right? You're relaxing, you're going to be home alone all day, but you constantly have to make plans just to make sure this being alone, it's not going to be prolonged, right? So you're constantly making plans and constantly thinking of future. It's a distraction. It's denial, right? So I feel like this collective, you would be, maybe you have been in this mindset. This is why maybe we have this caution, but I'm hearing something else with this as well. But you really have to realize what it really means not to be in denial and not to look for distractions. It means being in the moment. Being in the moment means today, now, on this day, how do I feel? I don't want to think about plans. I don't want to think about future. I don't want to think about what I'm going to be doing tomorrow, next weekend. No, the future doesn't exist. All we have is now. How do I feel right now? What emotions do I feel? Where do I feel them in my body? What do I have to change to feel better about myself, about life? What do I have to transform, right? I feel it will be relevant for this collective if it's coming to my mind, because we also have comfort zone, and I feel it may be that you put yourself in that comfort zone, and that denial was your comfort zone. I want one more for that caution. We have a ghost as well. I was hearing two things with that. Clarify caution. Isolation. I feel it's about that. It's confirmation, space and isolation, caution in between. I feel like you may have this collective tendencies, and they're really wanting you to slow down. They're really wanting you to anchor yourself in the moment of now, to really feel into yourself, your body, your spirit, your life, right? All the lessons. You have to stop focusing on future, what you're going to do, what life is going to bring. What does it mean? It doesn't matter. All we truly have is now. So I feel like this collective, you may be tempted. This is why they're saying be cautious. Be cautious. We'll clarify, but to be honest with that ghost, more than anything, I'm hearing to you to be that ghost. You to be that ghost for others. To be like, now I need to really... You guys, People constantly crave connections, right? We all crave connections. I don't care what anyone says. If they deny it, they are in denial. We all naturally as souls crave deep connections, right? To have that true understanding with someone, that what we call that soul connection, right? That you can understand yourself with someone with no words, that they're gonna know you, that they're gonna know your emotion, right? But in order to achieve that, you guys, people forget about the number one component. You have to start from creating that connection with yourself. If you are disconnected from your own emotions, from your own soul, from your own internal world, how will you even recognize a connection with another? Connection, that true connection, it comes from the fact that we vibrate on a same or similar frequency, right? So twin souls and soulmates, right? That's the only other soul that we can really achieve that deep connection. But in order to feel that with another, you have to know your own vibration first. And the vibration of the frequency of our soul, right, is sort of a fixed, is permanent, it's our natural frequency. But if it's surrounded by shadows, by denial, by our wounds, it's silenced. It's silenced. This is why we say you have to heal, you have to remove the wounds, you have to remove the limiting beliefs, the fear mentality, the fear of commitment, the traumas, right, and everything. And once you remove that, you start to shine in your authenticity. So it not only it attracts object of the same frequency, but you also understand that. So you have to start from developing relationship with yourself. You will never find true soul connection if you yourself don't know who you are, if you're lost in your shadows, if you're lost in your masks, if you're lost in your denials, you don't have the capacity to sit with yourself for days on end, just thinking about how do I feel, what I've been through, what lessons, what shadows. You don't understand you. So how do you know another to understand you? You're just going to be running around from karmic to karmic, but you would know this collective. I feel like you have the understanding, but I feel like you need really for someone to explain this to you. But what now? How? The how, right? Sometimes we know what I have, but how do I do this? So I feel like you really need to understand every mechanism of denial and distractions that you would previously follow. To be very cautious of not doing that. What's coming in the month of October? Backstabbing, heartbreak, pain. I feel, because remember we said that in previous part, that sometimes when people realize that someone was in that connection, right? So sometimes people think this is my twin flame or this is my soulmate, and then they realize it was just a karmic. Sometimes it takes them years. They usually just like, okay, it was karmic, let's move on from it. But karmic or no karmic, love is love, emotion is emotion, heartbreak is a heartbreak. So there was a moment you thought this person was your twin flame. It means that you developed feelings for them. So you cannot deny these feelings. You have to understand them. You had hope and thought of connection with this person. So you have to grieve that. You have to go through that heartbreak. You have to heal your heart. Don't forget about that. People often forget about that. They heal, but they don't heal the initial heartbreak, right? We have drama starter, and that's on top of that caution. I do feel, you guys, that you have a bit of that energy for yourself, and that it's just a word of warning from your guides to be like, really, I feel like you like when things are going on. Maybe you would say, I always say this, shadows always disguise themselves as light. So maybe you would say to yourself that you're just an extrovert, you're just very active, you're very, joyful, ambitious, energetic, you like to be in places, you don't like to just, but again, someone who is healed, who is centered, those people always have the capacity to spend a lot of time on their own, anchoring in the moment of now, feeling into their emotions, feeling into their bodies, I feel like you like a bit of a drama because that's your way to run away. That's your way. So whether you constantly, see friends or parties or lunches, or maybe talking to other people about their lives, I'm hearing a bit of a gossip, going out, whether it's a movie or a theater, maybe, like to see shows. And it came to my mind with this card, and maybe just a detail for somebody, but you're constantly doing something. God forbid not having plans. Maybe that scares you. And I always say this when we talk, especially when we're guided to go towards space and isolation. This is the moment when we have to find ourselves in a moment of life when we literally have zero plans for minimum next 6 months. No travel, no weekend, no nothing. It doesn't mean that every now and then we cannot, serendipitously say that, oh, I feel like talking to someone and go out with a friend. But usually when we start healing, we limit our circle as well, like 1 or 2 true friends that we can talk about these things, important things. And we really have no plans. No plans, because our plan is to form that connection with ourselves as we heal. I would feel that this gives, see, confirmation, partying, that's on top of that isolation. I feel it's going to be hard for you, this collective. I feel the ascension at the bottom of the deck. Maybe it's coming in the next month. I feel we have to do month of October for this collective as well, similarly as we do. I feel like you really are in a moment of like this intense change. You may be tempted. Maybe you have this, because with this Hierophant, we also had, it's a bit of a conditioning. Maybe you had this this belief that when you spend weekend over weekend at home alone, that you're a loser. But it's all, again, it's what the program tells us, to disconnect us from us. What is the purpose of the Matrix? To disconnect us from us, to disconnect us from our hearts. I feel like you're gonna be tempted to go to some parties, legal issues, but I see this more as a balance. Union, marriage, so connection, everlasting love, and then death. The relationship is over. More than anything, you guys, I feel like maybe you're one of these people that you always like to have someone to dream about, someone to long for, someone to chat with. Maybe you didn't even realize that. I feel this collective, you crave that connection more than you realize. But there's a reason. Your guides know this. They listen. They listen to your dreams. They listen to your hopes. And sometimes we refuse to listen to their guidance, but they know better. So again, you would think that stopping going out, stopping partying, stopping connecting to people, it will stop you from meeting your true soulmate. But in reality, what you have to do to ever meet your true soulmate is to stop and form a connection with yourself. Do some shadow work, do some transformation. It's going to cost you a bit of a getting out of that comfort zone, but I'm interested. And this is the similar energy with the first energy. Remember the cat that we pulled in first part? I feel this is what they're warning you about. We were onto something with the very first thing that I was hearing. That you are ignoring the connection. You now know that it ain't gonna happen. You now know that this is not your twin flame, right? On some level, it's gonna be different because it's collective. Some of you are that sure, some of you may still have, but in your heart, you already know this is not my twin flame. I was the Lulu, right? But I feel like you may have the tendency, again, watch the previous parts, to just be like, whatever, then let's just move on. No, you have feelings towards this person. For God's sake, for a moment you thought this was literally the other half of your soul, and now you want to ignore it. Now you want to be unbothered. This is whole you. This is your avoidance. This is your running away from your own emotions. You have to heal that. Understand what pulled you towards this person. Why did you develop these feelings? What were you really looking for? Why did you think that they were your twin flame? Don't be unbothered. Don't ignore the pain, the heartbreak. Heal that. Heal that. Phoenix, that's not, especially that it's on top of the drama starter. So I feel like you, I feel like you will be two more. I feel like you will be changing and transforming. I feel like you will be next month, you will be, I think that was a dragonfly. There it is. There it is. Ego at the bottom of the deck. You're still in a place of ego. And we have rejection there as well. No, it was teddy bear, but there's a reason I was seeing that dragonfly. I feel like you will be transforming next month. You will start to realize that you yourself were looking for these distractions. Maybe you were saying to yourself, but I keep being invited someplace, I don't have peace and this and that. You look for it. We create our own reality. We create our own life, right? But I feel like you will be realizing that you will in these vicious cycles. And next month you will be starting to see that you liked a bit of a drama. And on top of that partying, it's interesting, you guys, because we have that karma. I would really examine the relationships around you, to be honest. Because I'm hearing that you may have quite few friends that are just constantly from karmic to karmic, from unable to learn the lessons, unable to close the loop, unable to close that karma. So really examine that, because I always say this, you guys, when we truly start to awaken, when we start to walk the path of healing, there is no true path of healing. And I swear this to you, if you haven't let go of anyone. Right? Because soulmates, we are surrounded by soulmates. It can be people in our family, it can be people in our, in our friends, but we don't have gazillions of soulmates. If you're lucky, you're surrounded in one lifetime by maybe up to 10 different levels of soulmates, right? Higher mid soulmates, lower soulmates, somewhere around. So you're gonna have maybe like a mid soulmate in your family as your cousin or as your sibling or your parent. You're gonna have like maybe two friends that are one your higher soulmate, the other one, right? But if you have tons of friends and you constantly, girlfriends and parties and talking to people, they're your karmic connections. And when we truly choose the path of healing, we have to let these things go. And I always say this to you guys, it doesn't necessarily mean block, delete, don't ever speak to me again. But sometimes just, maybe from friends that you spend every weekend, as you start to grow, as you start to evolve, true soulmates will follow. I always say this. True soulmates will naturally follow. And if they left behind, it's for a reason. So don't stop yourself from growth. You're in this moment right now that you can change your life, but you really have to break the loop of, I feel like you love this collective to be constantly maybe surrounded by people. Maybe you have a lot of friends, connections. You go to many circles as well. I'm hearing you have always like places to go, people to spend time with. The people who truly, align, they don't live a life like that. Because we become spiritually selective. We really start valuing ourselves, our energy, because we form that connection with self. So now we understand who we truly are when we don't want no one who doesn't align with that. And karmics never align with that. So here and there, you may have some friends that you're going to see every 2 or 3 months for maybe some coffee to catch up, and it's fine. And you can, you usually stay connected to our karmic families, right? But on your everyday basis, the most important relationship should be with you, and then with just literally a couple of people. And there is this heartbreak. Remember what we said? You cannot forget about this. You're staying in your comfort zone, right? It's on top of that connection, the death and rebirth. The relationship is over. It's over. But you need to heal this. It's over. It wasn't it. It was a karmic, but you still have to heal your heart because this person caused some sort of a pain, right? I want to do a bit of a, but I feel like I want to do these for you. Pull a couple of these. Maybe we will do like 3 of these and 3 tarot. I'm guided. Nourish your energy. Nourish your energy. That's confirmation of what I said. People are so not mindful of what they're allowing in their energy. If you have tons of people around you, it only means that you have all their energy around you, that you're absorbing this energy. You really have to become a little bit more selective if you truly want to heal. If you truly want to heal. So we have that nourish your energy, right? So you are being guided, 26, to nourish your energy, to really, just as our physical body, our energy body also needs proper nourishment. Everything we allow in our energy field, people, places, music, books, movies, art, topics of conversation, and emotions of others affect our energy body and its condition and its health. It's what I said. You constantly somewhere with some people, different circles, different parties, a lot, right? So you're absorbing all of that energy. You cannot heal in this environment. There's always space and isolation component when we start to heal. And then as you get out of, because I always say this, healing is something that ends. I've done a video recently about this. It's a misconception. Our growth and expansion continues until the day we die. But true healing, if you truly put your heart into it and jump on horse, it can have an end date. So you're going to be periodically getting out of this isolation, hermit, bubble, sort of, and you're going to be returning. But every time you're going to be better. You're going to form more connection with yourself, which means that you're going to start to be more selective. You're going to prefer to spend a whole day with a true friend that you're going to be able to talk heart to heart, soul to soul, than just go like, I don't know, parties with other moms. It's came to my mind, maybe some of you have children, like other moms from school, and maybe then family, and then another. It's like, I feel like this collective, you have a lot of circles and you constantly just from one to another. We have inner child healing. Confirmation, you're being guided to really start healing. That's why I always say this is where we start. Inner child, mother wound, father wound, right? But I feel this collective, you should start with two, right? So heartbreak, address your heartbreak, address your relationship. You're never going to be able to move on from this person if you don't properly close this connection. And closing this connection means understanding the lesson and closing it on the level of this person. I also have a lot of content about closing karmic contract. People who need support, I'm happy to guide you, on session through this, but there's a lot of content on my YouTube that can guide you through this. You cannot ignore this. You cannot be embattled and like, I don't care, it's over, it wasn't my twin flame. You have to address this. You have to address this. Okay? So don't deny it's okay. Even if it was a karmic. It's like people are ashamed to admit that they're heartbroken because now they know that it wasn't a soulmate or a twin soul, it was a so what? You have feelings towards this person. And they hurt those feelings. So now you have to heal. And we have technology detox, which is another thing. Maybe you are someone that you like to spend. Maybe you're one of those people that, like, I always laugh when laugh. And it makes me sad, truly. When I see people that they're on their own in a restaurant, they're waiting for someone, or waiting like in waiting room for like doctor's appointment. They're incapable of just looking for a window or maybe thinking about something. They're constantly like this. So maybe you're one of those people that you find yourself that the moment there's, a couple of moments of wait, or that you're on your own, or like you're in a whatever, you're incapable of not like doing something. So maybe you need a bit of a technology detox. I want to do 3 more from these before we close. From Tarot, nourish your energy. I don't want to make another part, but I was guided to pull a few of these. Page of Inspiration, a new path. New path, new roads, the one that will really come from your heart, from your fire, from your mission, what you were meant. There's a lessons, this collective, that I feel like you really need. It's an era of really developing the connection with yourself. You don't truly even know who you are. I feel like you're going to be pushed more and more to do that detox from your energy, people you spend time with. Because I feel there are some people, maybe you do have a cat, another cat's on, maybe just a detail. 4 of Inspiration, inner child healing. I'm hearing foundation with this one. You won't go far if you're not going to have the foundation of really healing your childhood and what you went through. 8 of Inspiration. 8 of Inspiration. Movement. taking swift action, saying no to certain things. I feel, again, we've said it all, but it's a lot of distraction in your life. You have to start removing that. You have to start removing that. If you want true action, true progress, right? There's so much interference around this collective. There's so much interference. How you crave connections, you crave the real thing, the real deal. And even if it's not just romantically, right? But real connections can be formed, real beautiful connections can be formed with friends. But how will you ever have a deep connection if you don't go deep enough on yourself, right? On yourself. You need to slow down. You need to remove distractions. You need to declutter what's in your energy, especially that technology detox I'm hearing. But I feel also to start consciously thinking, people and places I spend time with, are they really nourishing my energy? Are they really helping me to get to my highest, most aligned timeline? And remember, with the heartbreak, don't ignore that. Don't ignore that. You have to heal. All right, you guys, I hope this was helpful. I will put it in my notebook because it was similar guidance yesterday's. They're quite similar collectives, but a bit different. Significantly different. But there's this karmic release component to both. So I feel like both of these collectives, you are in a very important moment of your life. So I'm going to jump in the next month. We've done your month of October. We're going to do your month of November as well. Maybe I'll have time to do extra ones in the meantime, in like midway, right? But yeah, you know what to do. You know the guidance. Yeah, I love you, and I will see you soon. Bye.